looking for their first win of the young season. Game 1 of the NLCS last night. Brewers defeat the Dodgers 6-5. Once again, Clayton Kershaw faltering in the postseason, giving up 4 earned runs over 3+ innings, including a dinger to the pitcher. At the Ticket Update desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 9701theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm the host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
Morning, everybody. How you doing today, Harv?
I'm doing fantastic. Harry, we got a special guest in here. This is awesome. We got Andy Dirksen, the former Detroit Tiger and superstar real estate agent. Hey, Andy, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I'm pumped up to be here.
You got it. Hey, it's for all the slappies out there that say, why on a sports station do we talk mortgages and real estate? It should be all sports. So you know what? We've got a combo platter for you right now today.
There you go.
We got Andy Dirks, outfielder, played all 3 positions for the Tigers, and he's selling real estate. So we're going to get into that, Andy, and we want you to tell everybody, how'd you get into real estate after patrolling center field at Comerica Park?
Like anybody, you don't know exactly when your career is going to end, sports-wise, unless you're like Barry Sanders and just go out on top. For most guys, you're forced out of the game. I had 2 back surgeries, unfortunately. Life moves on, right? My attitude's always been forward progress, keep moving, keep working. The woman in Overland Park, Kansas, that sold us our house when we lived in Kansas for a little bit, did a great job. She said, "Have you ever thought about doing real estate?" I said, "I think everybody on planet Earth has thought about it at some point, because real estate's sexy, it's cool, it's fun, right? You don't realize how much work actually goes into it until you get into it." So got my license. We decided to move back pretty much right after that. So I said, I'm not going to sit here and build up a client base to just leave it.
Right.
So I was learning as much as I could, jumped over here. We moved to Clarkston. My wife's from Bloomfield Hills, jumped right into real estate with Berkshire Hathaway. And really, this last year has been a whirlwind as far as learning a ton, working with great people, building a team, doing a lot of things in the real estate industry, and trying to learn as quickly as possible. I think we're about at the point we're going to shoot out of the cannon.
Right. So now you're in the real estate business. Somebody said to you, probably, Andy, I think you'd be good at this. Okay. You took it to heart. You went out and got your real estate license, and now you're in the middle of a new career. And what do you draw upon? Listen, everybody says if you're really good in athletics and you come from a team background and it's not always about you. Yeah, when you're sitting in there and you're facing a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, it's only you in the box. But guess what? You got to perform for your team. Now you're out in the business world, right? And you're taking all those concepts that you learned from being a competitor, and you're taking it and you're morphing it into your new career. Tell us about that.
Without a doubt, I ended my career literally at the top of the highest level possible. So when you come back to the real world, per se,
yeah.
You're dealing with a whole different type of crowd. Small markets like here in Metro Detroit's a big real estate market, but it is kind of sectioned out at Oakland County, Genesee County, the different counties. You realize that it's pretty true that there's really about one to maybe the top 5% actually are doing stuff.
Right.
Everybody else is just kind of there. In this market, as it shifts back to a buyer's market, we're going to lose a lot of agents because it's diluted right now.
And we're going to talk about that in a few, too.
Yeah, without a doubt. So for me to see their work ethic compared to what I'm used to, it gave me a lot of hope.
Good. Yeah, that's right. That's good. Everybody says, Harvey, we always talk about it. You can learn a lot by watching what other people don't do.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody says you learn by watching. It's true. You learn it from successful people, too. But then you learn a lot by watching people not work. And you say, you know what, if I put in the effort and I have a plan, it's like going to BP. You don't just get in the cage and start ripping. You work on your game. You hit some to the left, you hit some to the center, you hit some to the right. Andy hits bombs. That's what he does. In the real world, like he says, that's a term that we use often. In the real world, you got to go out and learn what not to do sometimes.
Knowledge is the key to anything you're trying to get in. As an athlete, a former athlete, preparation's important. Without a doubt, if you're not prepared to go into the game and the actual competition part of the game, your confidence is lacking, your abilities are lacking, your knowledge is lacking, and people just want to go wing it in real estate and say, well, I'm going to make the money because my cousin's going to let me sell their house. That only lasts so long.
You only have so many cousins.
And you only have so many cousins.
Absolutely the best segue right there. Keep going with that.
So as I got into the business, I understood a few things. Number one was this is new to me, but I can use a lot of the same things that I used in baseball, like learning how to deal with failure. That's huge in any sales profession. We fail at a rapid rate. There's no way you can go to every listing appointment and win, especially when you're new. And for me, trying to keep it humble when I'm losing to a 55-year-old housewife.
Hey now, here he goes.
That's my bread and butter, man.
He's talking our language here.
But what I'm saying, these women that have beat me and the men, they are good. It's the top 1 to 5%. I can deal with losing to the best agent in the market. It's harder for me losing to somebody who hasn't prepared as much as them.
So, Andy, it's kind of like this. You talk about that, and there are realtors. And Harvey and I have been doing this a combined, we want to tell them about 65 years.
Right.
But it's okay. We say that every day. You want to talk about the Johnny-come-latelys, the people that are going to be in the business, that aren't going to be in the business. Well, this is the market that's going to tell that. Harvey and I were talking about it yesterday. Listen, there's more to selling a house than just opening up a lockbox. What you're going to find out, the longer you're in it, the longer you're doing it, the longer that you're preparing and doing things to be successful every single day, you know what? In the end, you're only going to go up against the people that have been successful for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years because the others are going to fall out. And that's what you're going to find out. But it's a grind. You got to be a grinder. And look, you come in the league and you're a highly rated rookie. You get in a major league clubhouse. There's a bunch of dudes that have been there a long time. They're going to put you in their place, right? They're going to make you carry that pink backpack, aren't they?
Without a doubt. And it's part of earning your stripes. So real estate's no different than any other occupation. I think the cool thing about real estate compared to, working for a corporate company or something is your effort will dictate your outcome. And learn and adjust as you go. I made mistakes when I first started, especially on the marketing side. And I dumped some money into some things I shouldn't have, which kind of hurt my bottom line. But at the end of the day, I can go back and learn from those quickly and be able to adjust. Same way as far as listening to clients. What are their actual fears? What do they actually want out of this process, as opposed to me going in and thinking I know what they want? And that's a kind of a big aha for me. Because I took the training, I worked on presentations, I studied the market, I did everything that I was supposed to do, but then you get in the real life scenarios, and that's really what starts shaping you. And then learning from those is what's helped me kind of see a lot of success in year one.
Man, this is some great stuff. 248-539-9797. We're talking about mortgages and real estate with Andy Dirks, former Detroit Tiger slugger. And, of course, Andy's got a great career with Berkshire Hathaway up in Clarkston. Got into real estate a few years ago. He talks about passion, preparation, having that confidence. You said some key things in that first little segment. You're talking about just like in batting practice, you got to be prepared. And when you're going to purchase a house, it starts with that knowledge, and that knowledge gives you the confidence. Those two things are the key of what's going on today in today's marketplace. Where everyone else is maybe trying to dumb down the market, we want to build you up, educate you on the process, and that way the next time around you're even that much sharper, and you have that much more negotiation
Well, we're going to
skills.
talk reality. Andy, you got in the business probably at a really good time. It's a seller's market. This was the 7th year of a seller's market, started in 2012. Now everybody knows right now as we sit here in October of 2018, we know the market's going to slow down. There are a lot of reasons why. The main reason is interest rates aren't going down. We said it forever. They're not going down to zero. They're going up. Now, what's the good? Everybody says, Harry, that's bad news. Rates are going up. You know what? You got to look at it this way. In the last 50 years, if I were to tell you where on the spectrum 5.5 on a 30-year fix would be, it's way down.
Yeah.
Okay? It's way down. So there is no reason to be afraid of a 5.5, even a 6% interest rate.
No, we were excited back in the day when the rates did drop that low. We never thought they'd get below 5%. To have that run from 2000, about 8 or 9.
Listen, I don't want to sound like the old guy in the room, which I am, but I got in the business in 1988 when the rates were at 12.5. We thought if they ever got under 10, it'd be great.
Right.
Okay, so it goes like this. There's never been a better time to buy. Prices could start coming down. Inventory is going to start picking up. And you got guys like Andy Dirks who love being in the business and want to show houses. So I think it's a really good time to buy. He's out in Clarkston. He sells all over, and we know Clarkston's a great area. So I don't know. There's a lot of pluses. Plus, Metropolitan Detroit, the market is still increasing in property value.
Right. There's so many great things happening, especially your way. Andy, what about this marketplace? As we shift a little bit into a buyer's market, things typically slow down in Michigan and these things. You know, that music tells us we'll come back and we'll dive into some deep questions. We want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
No matter where you live. We want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, and welcome back to the show, 9:17. That's right, we got a lot of football coming up. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. But first, our mortgage show up till 10 o'clock. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. I mean, really deal with professionals have been in the industry for a very, very long time. There is a lot involved. I was just telling these guys, I said it out loud, when we get an easy buyer, I mean, they got the money, Harry, they got the funds to close, they've got the great credit, we've educated them, they're approved. They buy the house, they're ready to go. Those are easy deals. That's our bread and butter. It's
Right.
we really shine when there's something a little bit unique out there.
Well, when you put together a self-employed borrower that has about 4 K1s and 4 companies, and you know there's money being moved around from account to account, from business to personal, personal back to business, and you have to track all the funds. You know, basically when somebody turns their information into our office, into our people, that's really all they have to do, and then we take it from there. So nobody sees what we do behind the scenes. We put it all together. Our underwriters are solid. Our processing staff's been around for a long time. Our closing department is the best in the industry, and we just get it done. And that's how that has to work. And that's why relationships are so important. You have a singular point of contact. They take care of everything, and they get it done, and we're closing loans in 20, 21, 22 days. The point is we don't even need to close them that fast anymore. You don't need to. Back in the day, people were rushing to close. How fast? You know, one of the biggest objections, why, and we're going to ask Nash why people use him. Why should everybody go to you, Nash? It's the same question people ask me. Well, why should I go to you? Well, why you should come to us is because we know how to bake a cake. Okay, we know how to make all the ingredients, put it all together, and make it come out at the end and taste real good. That's what we do. All right, and we could do it in, if you want to do it in 22 days, 20 days, it doesn't even matter anymore.
There it is, the right ingredients.
They all close. It's about the communication and the relationship. And if you don't have that relationship and can't trust somebody, you know, why are you going to them? So, Nash, why do people go to you?
Well, thanks for that question. That's a great question. I do bring to the table a lot of experience, and I do have the technical expertise behind me and also the negotiation skills. Janine and I worked on a lot of complicated deals, you know, speaking of self-employed borrowers and
International borrowers. I know you guys had
borrowers and stuff like that.
Right.
And I guess I didn't throw many easy deals at Janine, maybe 1 or 2, but most of them are real complicated. And guess what? We got them closed, got them on time, and most of the time, really, they were great deals. It was a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, see,
environment. It all starts with just one thing. Want to benefit from eco-architecture without designing a new home? Think about adding solar panels to your roof. You'll cut down on your electric bill and improve the value of your home, all while helping out the environment. If you live in an apartment with rooftop access, you can also consider adding a rooftop community garden, another great rooftop choice for eco-architecture. It all starts with one thing. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
97.1 The Ticket, where real men come to play.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. If you're just tuning in, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed. Harry Glantz next to me. Brought in Andy Dirks, great real estate agent out at Berkshire Hathaway in Clarkston, of course, former Detroit Tiger. We have so much to talk about here in 1 hour. We're going to jam it all in, Harry.
You know, Harvey, the elephant in the room is what's going on with interest rates. And you saw the financial markets go crazy this week. Talk about the Fed raising the rates. They're going to continue to raise the rates. What's going to happen? You know, it goes something like this. Rates have been low for a very long time. Okay, it did stimulate the economy. It has stimulated employment. And unemployment is down significantly. And people are spending money. People feel very confident about their jobs, about their quality of life. And as we talked about in our first segment with Andy, the market's been hot for the last 7 years. So where do you think rates are going to go? They're going to continue. Here, everybody out there, we've said it. You get tired of me saying this to you for the last 2 years, okay? 18 years on this program. Last 2 years, I kept telling you rates were going to go up. We have seen an influx, Andy, of new applications for home buying in the last 3 weeks that we didn't even experience in the spring and summer. And our refinance applications are up because people are really now feeling the need to really get serious, take that financial checkup, or go ahead and go into the market and really take a look about selling their house and buying a new house. We're still seeing that even at this late date in October. And I'm not a weatherman. I don't make predictions. The however is I think you can get a really good buy, a really nice house. More homes are going to come on the market. And I still think there's no time like the present to get into the home buying market, Andy.
Right now, we're about to crush the inevitable fear of I missed out on the seller's market, right? So this is why you're seeing a lot of people now trying to will and deal. This is a perfect example of when a shift happens, the inventory is going to flood because everybody's like, I need to cash out now. I need to cash out now. We should have done it last summer. I told you we should have done it last, you know.
Right.
But in all honesty, what we're seeing right now is two different markets. We had a split market. Stuff under about 300,000 is still moving. It's still going. If it's nice, if it's updated, if it's priced right, that house is still going to sell usually within a week or two. You get up over that, and especially over about 500,000, that's a different market right now. Right. People, there's just less of the buyer willing to overpay for the house in their position. So you kind of see the two markets. What I always recommend now, if somebody's really in more of that higher bracket, 400 plus, we got to get the house staged correctly. We got to make sure we're on point and priced correctly. The days of overpricing by 20% are fleeting.
That's so great that you just said that because 4 weeks ago on this show, Harvey had one of his guests on. We had a guest on that she was a professional stager. And Harvey, for a couple of years, had always been saying exactly what you said. The house needs to be presented properly and marketed properly, especially the higher you go, right? So we had this person on. She was phenomenal, talking about professionally staging a house to get it sold because that's what's going to help sell the house. Because when people come in, they're motivated by their emotions. When they see something they like, instantaneously it kicks into high gear and they got to buy the house.
Yeah. I think people forget that there's competition in the market. It's not just that your house is sitting there and it should sell at this price. There's a house in the next neighborhood. There's a house 2 doors down from you. There's a house somewhere that you're competing against. So it's our job as agents to see what's that competition and then also keep track of it. So say your house is on the market for a month and we're not getting a lot of activity. It's my job to then go back and rerun the comps. what's going on here? What did sell? Why did it sell? What's it look like? What do we need to do to adjust moving forward?
Constantly readjusting again as a real estate agent, and then buyers and sellers' needs and their wants and needs list. Those are always changing based on the market conditions. I like that you're sort of diving back into a transaction or a listing and saying, hey, after 3 or 4 weeks, let's reevaluate here. What is going on in the marketplace? It does appear that things can change awfully quick, especially in the real estate market, whether it be on the mortgage rate side or truly what the trends are happening, especially in your neck of the woods. A $400,000 or $500,000 house is definitely get those homes staged properly. As more and more families, Andy, as you know, they start their initial search maybe online, and they're looking at those great pictures or a little video on the house. Then of course, that segues into them getting in the car and really taking a look at the house. You just don't want to miss out on that great opportunity to sell your house to that buyer, because again, that could lead to your house sitting for another month or two. And then you mentioned home prices, of course, negotiation of that. Be in perspective. Listen, get great advice. Get the knowledge behind you. Don't consider, if it's $20,000, $30,000 away from where you wanted to be. Again, look at the big picture. If you're downsizing or if you're moving your family into another house, maybe that's going to be due soon. You got to hurry up and make the moves. And again, that knowledge will give you that confidence to move forward. We got great stuff here. 248-539-9797. All your calls, of course, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Call and get your strong approval letter. That's the key about it, making sure that you're all set up. We never want to forget about all this billions of dollars of equity out there, as many families here are setting themselves up for the holiday seasons coming up.
Yeah.
We got kids in college. Consolidate your debt. Take a look at cash out refinance transactions. See what you can do for that home improvement project. Again, sometimes this time of the year is a great time to start that project versus next year.
Yeah, well, listen, here's the situation right now. You're going to get a rate not as low as it was before, but you're going to get a rate in the 5s. All right, you're going to take cash out. You're going to go ahead and consolidate that toxic debt that you're paying 18% on your credit cards. Then you're going to tear one or two of those credit cards up, and you're never going to use them again. Or you're going to go ahead because, Andy, I hate to say this with you in front of me, you might not want to move now, but you want to improve the house, your existing home, and you're going to go ahead and do it at a very low rate. You're going to take cash out. You're going to maybe fix up the bathroom, add a bathroom, maybe add a bedroom. You're going to go ahead and improve the quality of your lifestyle, okay? It's a quality of life issue, all right? You're going to do things in your house that you want to do for yourself.
Well, you can enjoy them for a short time. Maybe put the house on the market in the springtime. So maybe now is even a time to meet a professional agent, have them come to the house, and get out there and give you some opinions on what's going on.
But the money's still cheap. Money's still cheap to do home improvements. And if you go any weekend, if you go today and you drive around a Lowe's or a Home Depot, you're going to see those parking lots are full because people are improving their homes too. Well, if you have a major renovation and you have some equity in your house and you want to improve the value and your lifestyle, you might take a look at that. Now, however, is that, again, the longer you wait, the higher the interest rates are going to go.
That's pretty simple to understand.
I would always consult a professional real estate agent, staging consultant, somebody that works as a team, get two opinions. Should we do this or not? Because there's a direct correlation between adding value to a house and
how much you can get out.
That's right. Yeah. But we did see this quite a bit as far as the baby boomers go. So they have a house. They need first floor laundry. They need the first floor master. We're trying to find them ranch homes in areas like Clarkston and Troy and all these, and they're on and off the market. They're overpriced. So what people were doing was getting a hold of a good contractor and making the work happen in their own home and staying there. And I don't, as a real estate agent, have any problem with that. I'm a capitalist. I'm a free market kind of guy. I don't want somebody that doesn't want to buy or sell working with me. If you're on the fence, call me. I will give you the knowledge and run you through exactly maybe what you're thinking and see if it's going to align with your plans right now. If not, we'll put you on a 1-year plan. We can put you on a 2-year plan. We have plenty of resources. Same way with these guys. What you do is you get a hold of them a year before you want to buy. You have them run your credit. Say, okay, you need to cut down the credit card debt. You need to cut down this, and then when you're ready, they give you to me, and then when we go shop, we can actually put an offer that's correct on the house. You're going to reduce the amount of, these bidding wars and all this. It's because you're not prepared.
There you go. 248-539-9797. We're going to be sharing it with you all morning long here and definitely taking your calls. When we come back, we'll go to Zach's call again. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.
Karsh and Anderson Middays.
Hi, it's Doug Karsh from Karsh.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, and welcome back to the show. We'll take all your calls here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. 248-539-9797. Always at Capital Mortgage. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Bro, they're going old school on the intro music.
This.
I like that. That was so good, Alice Cooper, back in the day. I appreciate that,
local
guys.
music. Yeah, Alice is from
That's
Detroit.
pretty sweet.
I loved it.
We were getting into some cash-out refinances. Of course, trillions of dollars that we all have in equity in the home. If you're a homeowner and you bought over the last 10 years, you should be in very good shape now. Again, if you have that toxic debt out there, that high interest rates on those credit cards is a great opportunity to consolidate. Although mortgage rates are headed up and closer to 5% than before, that's an extremely low interest rate.
So, Harvey, how do you think people feel? And I want to cut you off because I have a funny story to tell you. All right, so we lock and close loans every single day, 10, 15, 20 times a day. It doesn't matter. So rates are now at about 5%. So,
30-year fixed, let's say that.
30-year fixed. Yeah. And I apologize because the majority of our loans are 30-year fixed loans because we're very conservative like that. If people want to pay them off early, we let them pay them off early. If they want to go to a 15, it's fine too. But you're at about 5% now on a 30-year fix. So 2 weeks ago, when we were locking people in at 4 3/4, right? They were yelling and screaming, "Oh, the rates are too high." We're like, "What are you talking about too high? They're going up." Okay, so now yesterday, the day before that, we're closing their loans, 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, at 4 3/4.
Yeah, they're happy now.
Now, wait. Are they happy because they got 4 3/4? Are they happy that other people are getting 5? I mean, what are they happy about?
Is that like when you're only happy if
I want to hear from people. Call in. Let me know what you're happy about. Right? I mean, seriously, what, you think you got a better deal than somebody else? No, you want to know something? You at 4 3/4, you should have refied and consolidated debt a year and a half ago. You would have got 3 3/4.
There you go.
So I'm just happy that you did it. You finally woke up and said, "Hey, what am I waiting for?"
Exactly. 248-539-9797. Throw it out there. Of course, if you'd had a VA loan, if you're VA eligible, 100% cash out refinances, 85% cash out of your house on an FHA mortgage with loan limits of $295,655. That's helping all you loan officers out there that don't know the numbers yet. Also, what a great opportunity, Harry. It's one of the things I always do. I ran into a tougher one, obviously, this month, but I do many land contract payoffs, and I really want to urge that families out there who have land contracts now
track the payments.
Do a lot of things like get in touch with us immediately. Whether you're organizing the land contract now and putting those terms together, or you need to know that your family's going to want to get paid off one day. You have to make timely payments. You have to organize yourself and make sure all parties have the knowledge.
Your homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The Green Bay Packers host the San Francisco 49ers. Monday Night Football. Pregame at 7:30 on CBS Sports Radio 1270.
Welcome back to the show, 931. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Yeah, we're in our 18th plus year. Hopefully see you here next year. 2019 is around the corner.
Why is that hopefully?
Well, Harry,
I mean, hopefully.
We're just mortgage people and real estate
we're just
people. We're not
slapping
really
some.
radio people. But
I'm already getting killed, all the texts, all the baseball references, that I'm using. They think I'm showing off for Andy. Why show off? I got the Old English D on.
You
Why
got
I'm
that on.
slapping it up, right, Roberto?
Of
just
course.
getting killed here.
Andy Dirks, of course, joins us here, former Detroit Tiger, great real estate agent out in the Clarkston-Davidson area. And you got so much insight on this. Let's take a call here, and we'll dive right back in some of our calls. 248-539-9797. Hey, Zach out in Rochester. We're going to plug you in right there. Hold on, Zach. There you go. Hey, good morning, Zach.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, Zach.
How are you?
Good. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I got a question. I'm interested in doing a refi, but my mortgage is, I think, somewhat complicated. I'm looking for some advice here.
Okay, great.
Back in 2010, I did a loan modification.
Yep.
And I went through that for 5 years. So now I'm have a fixed rate, 30-year. But what they did was they deferred part of the mortgage.
Yeah, they
so
took
I'm not paying on that.
Yeah, they put it on the back end of the balance, so you owe a little bit more. So my question to you is this: how's your credit?
Credit's pretty good. It's definitely going up. It's getting close to 7, I would say.
All right, and you've made your payments on time, correct?
Been perfect on payments since 2010.
All right, so what's the balance now on the modification? What's the mortgage balance?
Overall balance is 270. 150 is what I'm paying on, and 120 is deferred.
Okay, and what's the value of the property?
It's in the 450 range.
Well, then it sounds like you might have a transaction there for you, and I think we have to get you out of the rate that you're paying now, because the rate you're paying now is got to be a high rate.
It's 4.75.
That's not too bad,
and that's fine. And I want to take a look at, your entire situation. So I want to take a look at that statement that they send you every month, and I want to take a look at, and Harvey's going to go and do some background on the property for you, and we might be able to get you into a better situation. But we're going to need to collect that information and put it together for you.
Hey, Zach, it's a great call. It sounds like there's an opportunity here. Of course, the things that we're going to be checking for, your credit score sounds like it's going to fall into place. You do have a pretty good interest rate right now, but the key is what do we do to set you up for the future? That deferment of $120,000, that's going to come back to bite you.
Right.
And maybe we can reach out to them and find out. Maybe they can even discount that payoff. Who knows? But I would like to find out. I haven't run into that situation particularly in a year because usually they would forgive that additional money. But hey, at this point, they kept you in the house, and let me follow up with you after the show and find out a little bit more and see if we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
We appreciate the call.
Great.
Thank you very much. If you'd like to call in, 248-539-9797.
Harvey, there might be an opportunity for Zach to be able to save some money, but we're going to need to take a look at some of that documentation because I have a feeling on the loan mod, there could be maybe a prepay penalty. There might be some stipulations in there that we're going to have to check out for him. But like you said, we haven't seen those kind of things in at least a year or two right now.
There were many of the clients out there who ran through the hard times, the recession that kicked in here. Definitely when we came upon hard times, some of them we had second mortgage that were forgiven. They were thrown off the books. Some of them, they set up new terms, 40-year amortizations. If you did a loan modification, definitely give us a phone call at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. Let us take a look at it. Again, there might be an opportunity for you to knock years off and go ahead and lock yourself into still what we consider to be very, very low interest rates. All right, let's dive into the purchase talk because I always that's what's really keeping everything going here is the purchase industry. And there's so many opportunities. I think that's where families need to find out where the sweet spot is. Down payment. There's some down payment assistance programs across the state. Michigan State Housing Development Authority was granted $20 million. They're going to divide that money up, $15,000 per family. There's 61 zip codes in 11 different counties here in Michigan. Find out if you qualify for the program. Again, it's free money, basically. If you keep the house, you don't want to sell it in after a couple of years, you don't have to pay back the money. So there's some great opportunities out there.
Yeah, so the conversation always goes like this, Andy, and maybe you've run into this. I know Harvey and I've run into this many, many times over several years of being in this business. You know something, guys? I can afford the monthly payment. I just don't have the down payment, okay? So we always tell them, listen, okay, you can afford the monthly payment. We run it. Their credit's pretty good. Their income is really good. They just don't have the money. There are several programs where you can have low or no, there's a down payment assistance program. There's 2%, 3%, 4% down. And Harvey will tell you.
Zero down.
Well, zero down. We'll go with the VA program too. But Harvey, go ahead and go over all the programs with the minimum monthly payment.
Having Andy in here is great because he's up in the northern Oakland County area, right on the outskirts of Genesee County, and that whole county is USDA qualified. So your income eligibility is still there, but it's based on your family size and how much you make. But if your credit's decent, I mean, you're looking typically just 640 credit or better, and you're going to be able to purchase using the USDA program. This is a rural development loan, zero down. Andy, the key with the program, not only is it zero down, you can use seller's concessions. So up to 6% on the seller's concession side on the USDA loans gives your family a great opportunity. I mean, you might only need a couple $1,000s. And with, again, you got tax season coming up, not too far away. You're going to be sitting down with your CPA. That tax return, get prepared now. That tax money that you get refunded to you could be enough to go ahead and get your family into a house.
Without a doubt, the down payment, especially for first-time home buyers, because you're not selling a property. That's where most people get their down payment. Let's just be honest. We're not all that great at saving money. And don't feel bad. It's not your fault. It's not like you did something wrong in life. You're paying off student loans or whatever. So come in, ask these guys, hey, how can I get this ball rolling? Because that's the key. Get the ball rolling. Once you get it rolling, then I can help you do a lot of things. The USDA loan is a really incredible loan. It's similar to FHA in the fact that when they do the appraisal, there is an inspection with it, right? I have yet to see those really come back. In if the house is habitable, we're going to make it work.
Yes.
And I think there's sellers out there who are a little concerned when somebody comes in with an FHA or a USDA. And I always say, no. This is what they're going to do. You need smoke detectors in the bedrooms. You need a carbon monoxide in the basement.
GFI plugs in the water
plug.
areas. There you go.
Right. You have to fix the hand railing going down the stairs. And we just had this conversation, Harvey and I talked about yesterday.
Right at the end of the day, yeah.
At the end of the day, I called. There was a seller that said they don't want to entertain FHA financing. Well, listen, this isn't 30 years ago FHA financing. Okay, money's money. The only FHA things that come up, the stipulations that come up on an appraisal are things you would have to fix anyways. They're health and safety issues, period.
Correct.
Yeah, they're typically,
that's it.
Yeah, typically broken glass. They don't want peeling paint in the house. So again, if you're going to present your house, go ahead and scrape away.
Why would you want to sell a house with peeling paint anyway?
You wouldn't want to. You want to present the best possible product you have there and definitely do the right thing. But Andy, USDA loans, like you said,
they close quick too.
They're 30, 45 days.
They're not. It's not like you're wasting time. You're probably going to get your best offer from one. I'm actually doing a deal right now. We went that route. They didn't like it. We went that route. They realized this is by far our best offer. Let's open up the doors. It's going to work out. They pan out fine. A lot of times the buyers are on the hook for $500 on an FHA to do some home repairs, depending on how the contract's written. You have the FHA addendum. You have different things that go in. So the seller is protected in a lot of ways. So if you're thinking about selling, use that as a benefit with these great programs these guys are throwing at you. And if you're a buyer, understanding that what a concession really is basically the seller is helping you pay your down payment.
That's right.
So say you have a $200,000 house, you need 5% concessions, really, and you offer $200,000. Really, you're offering $190,000. So you can take that and with that knowledge understand, okay, what's this guy or gal trying to get out of their house? How can I make the numbers work for them?
Right.
And then they say, well, we're worried about appraisals. I understand that too. That's where I run the comps and I show you here's what these houses are going for. Appraisals are going to be hitting fine for the next year as we go into a buyer's market, right?
Right, great point. So, Andy, let me clarify on that a little bit. You're right there with the numbers, too. If you bump up, sometimes there's a little bit of room there. A $200,000 listing, that house could appraise for $205,000 in most situations.
Oh, without a doubt.
Maybe they have it listed at $199,900 because they want that peak, and people don't always go over the $200,000. At the end of the day, you give the seller what they want for the house, maybe a couple $1,000s more, and you make it a win-win situation. Understanding seller's concession, if you're a real estate agent and you're foggy on that, get with the professionals out there because that's what's going to make or break a lot of transactions for your buyers and sellers on the other hand.
Without a doubt. We do a lot of different things, especially, in the Royal Oak market, that whole Ferndale, Clawson, that whole area. We've done some pretty interesting things as far as like 3-day inspection periods because I have referral partners who can get out there the next day and do the inspection.
Right.
And you start giving all these terms that's not always money. And they say, this is going to be the smoothest transaction ever. Look how hard this guy's working. The other agent sees that. and says, these people might be trying to give us $3 more grand, but I guarantee you can take the deal with Andy, it's going to close.
Well, we always talk about that, Andy, that it's not always price. It's about the other objectives that people might have. They might not want to move out of the house right away, so then maybe you give them some occupancy. Okay? It just all depends on each transaction is an individual transaction unto itself, so you don't know what somebody's hot button is going to be.
Alrighty, guys, that music says we're up against a quick little break here. When we come back, all of your calls, 248-539-9797.
Mike Valenti, afternoon.
I really don't care about being right or
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back. 9:46. A little rainy outside. They say it's going to get up to 80 degrees today. It's going to be warm the next few days. Get out there and enjoy.
Who are they?
Who are they?
They said this. They said that. They're talking an awful lot
go to
these
college.
days.
Yeah, they went to college for meteorology school.
Okay.
So those are the people. Anyways, you're listening to the Hardcore
So you're
Mortgage
saying there's
Show.
no shot at anybody playing golf today?
No, go for it. No, you might get a little window in there, but it's going to be no carts, Harry, just on the golf. Keep
Go
them on
green, baby. Go green.
We got so much going on here, and again, if you're out there, we're going to talk a little bit about negotiating. Again, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Call Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker here in the studio, 248-539-9797. Nash Qureshi, Janine Hill. You guys want to talk about a little bit of a negotiation thing there. I thought you were going to talk about like maybe a $250,000, $300,000, but this is interesting. This is the bread and butter. $150 to $250, right in that ballpark. And people aren't making good decisions. Tell me a little bit about that experience with the buyer you had.
Well, here it is. It's a house in Auburn Hills, Michigan. And Auburn Hills is coming up to be...
It's going to be the next one, yeah.
The new hot area, if you will. There's some new developments going on there in the city. And, of course, the school district, there's a couple of school districts. One of them is real good.
Yeah, Avondale's very good.
Yeah, and people after that. So we have this property. It was priced pretty well at $155,000. And the buyer I was working with, he wanted to offer less. I said, wait a minute. This is... You don't need anything to do with it to this house. You got to really at least offer full price. My prediction is going to go over asking price.
Yeah.
So sure enough, he's not the only one. Who liked it. There are other people. Ended up with 9 offers, went over 165.
At Bullying is No Joke 6, starring Saturday Night Live's Colin Jost on October 27th at the Flagstar Strand Theater in downtown Pontiac. The event will benefit Defeat the Label's anti-bullying programs. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com or FlagstarStrandTheaterPontiac.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the Radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. 97.
All right, welcome back to the show. 9:46 if you're just joining us. Not too bad outside today. Hey, Harry, I'm going to go to that Michigan game tonight. How's that?
Have fun, brother.
All right, well, that's
You go have fun,
7:30
go
start,
Green.
and all right, go white, go green. We got a lot going on. When is that Penn State game today? Michigan State.
it's-
When is that? This afternoon, 1?
I'm an adopted Spartan.
Oh, you are?
My wife went to Michigan State.
That's why we love Andy.
I'm an adopted
We like
Spartan.
the fact, Andy, that you're a Kansas boy and you're married a Michigan girl. You know what's best.
We like
exactly. And Wichita State doesn't have football. So
There's another reason. 248-539.
Yeah, they have basketball. They're usually pretty decent
97.
basketball, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
The
got
Shockers.
We got a
Yeah.
fun show going on here. We don't want it to end because it's all about mortgages, real estate. We bring Andy Dirks in to talk a little bit about sports and really getting your game on. We'll hit that in the next few minutes, too. Let's go off to a few calls here. We've got Mike calling in Waterford. Hey, Mike. Went to Frank first. Frank out in Detroit. Hey, Frank. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Gentlemen, how are you this morning?
Real
Morning,
good.
Frank.
Go ahead,
good,
Frank.
good.
Great show. Once
Thank
again,
you.
great show, guys. Listen, I got an MO here, my own personal. My credit score is fine. It's 720 plus. I make decent money. I even got a little down. I like that program you were talking about in Genesee, but I'm in Detroit, Wayne County. But when they pull up my arrearages on my child support, it's like damnation. They just cut me off.
Yeah.
What can we do, guys? Is there any loophole? Is there anything?
Well,
Because I'm in need to pick up a home.
how far in arrears are you?
I don't believe it's over 5. I think it's like 38 something.
What you need to do is get on a payment plan with them and then demonstrate to the underwriters that you've been paying on time for over 12 months. I'm not 100% on it. I'm going to double check and follow up with you, Frank, because I think we can make a case.
If you've been paying the same amount consistently on time over the last 12 months,
It's a recent case. But I've never been late.
Okay. Well,
So
I'm
right on target with you guys as far as showing. And I even make an extra payment on top of that I have a record of as well through my bank.
Do you make the payment to the friend of the court? Do they take it out automatically, or do you make the payment to
They
the friend
take
of
it
the
out
court?
automatically, and I make an extra payment.
All right, then, yeah, I'd like to see that documentation. I think there might be a way we could talk about it, but I want to hear the whole situation. I need to know what you're trying to do, globally. I need to know what your goals and objectives are, and I have to take a look at the situation.
Frank, we thank you for the call. I'm going to follow up with you after the show just because got to get to some calls today. Awesome stuff. Again, if you're out there on the maybe borderline, you're not sure if you can get a mortgage, make that phone call. Hey, I'll follow up with
Yeah,
you.
and there's no obligation. We'll take a look at it for you, and we'll see if we can, make it a successful situation for you.
Best way to roll. Hey, let's move off to Mike in Waterford. Hey, Mike, there you are. Mike,
That's
we lost
it?
you, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. We went to go to him before. Definitely follow up with you. I know we have your phone number. Thanks for the call, Mike. 248-539-9797 if you want to sneak one in. Again, we were talking about debt consolidation, some of the easy ways to purchase a house out there with all the zero down programs. And off the air, we were just talking, the new thing out there has been why families are getting denied on mortgages has become debt to income ratio. Yes, in the past, it was always here. The families that had trouble getting mortgages had bad credit. They had a credit problem. They weren't able to pay their bills on time. Now we're looking at families with a serious amount of student loan debts, and we just spend too much. Maybe we all spend too much, Andy.
So you got to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, but I think the plan is, and we talk about it, and Andy mentioned it earlier in a segment, is you have to have a plan. If we sit down with somebody, we're not going to let you enter into a transaction if you're over leveraged. We're going to put you on a plan, on a timetable where you're going to pay down some of that debt before trying to buy a house. You cannot buy a house if you're over leveraged. Why do that? You saw what happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago when people were doing that, and then you saw the financial crisis hit in 2007, 2008, 2009. We have to learn from our behavior. All right, you cannot allow people to get in over their head, and you just don't want that. It's no good for anybody. So we'll sit down with you, and we'll have a plan for you to start paying things off to where, and set you up for success to where you can afford buying a house. Because let's face it, Andy Dirks, when people buy a house, it's not just the house payment. There's the taxes, there's the insurance, there's utilities, there's the maintenance, there's the upkeep, there's the furnace going out, there's the roof that's going to leak, there's the basement's going to flood. There's all these kind of things that are going to happen. You know it as well as I do. These things are going to happen.
That's why I always advise my clients to, first of all, figure out a budget. What is something, if you're renting right now, what are you paying in rent? Because when you buy a house, maybe you pay this in rent, but you have no extra money. When you buy a house, hot water heaters go out. things do happen. And that's part of some of these programs with less money down. What I always try to do is keep money in pocket.
There you go.
So even if somebody has $8,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 to put down on the house, I try to find ways to keep as much of that into their pocket as possible.
Well, you need that rainy day fund, man.
Exactly. And then I ask them, do you have hoses? Do you have a rake?
Yeah.
Do you have? So these are things that go into the plan, just like what you were talking about. You can't just dive in and make an insta purchase on a house. We're not buying a candy bar at the grocery store here. We're buying a house. And you're not walking into a used car lot and a guy just talks you into a 20% interest rate on a loan, right? No. There is protocol here. There are things you need to understand and know to make a great decision for yourself and your family. Exercise your options, understand, be prepared. At the end of the night, you can just lay your head on your pillow in your new house and say, wow, those guys did amazing. That's what I want my clients to feel. I don't want them to be anxious about a mortgage payment. Now we can't go on vacation. Johnny can't have basketball shoes. We can't have turkey dinner for Thanksgiving. No, we want quality of life for people.
Yeah, nothing better than when you come home, you see your kids in the neighborhood playing with all the other kids. You definitely can plan your family vacation. There's little things that you have to do in life to keep things moving in the right direction and keep the wife happy. That's always a key.
And having people tell you the truth.
I get pretty jacked up about that because this is the Hardcore Mortgage, Real Estate, and Business Show. We talk hardcore to people. I must be a bad mortgage guy because people tell me, Harry, I want a $400,000 house. I said, no.
You tell them they shouldn't do that?
I tell them they shouldn't do it.
It's hardcore because the truth.
Right. You shouldn't do it. I don't want you buying that house because you know what? You want to go out on Saturday nights. You want, like you said, I want my kid to play in that basketball league. You have to be smart about it. We're just not Johnny-come-latelys because we walk the streets. We're in the community. We see these people every day. And I'm not putting somebody into a bad situation. That's why we never did subprime loans. Period. End of discussion.
Got like 3 things to jump in here, guys, because we're going to start running out of time here. A couple different ways to save money on your mortgage, definitely. If you're planning on getting a mortgage soon, it's always the credit. Get your credit score fixed up. You can call Capital Mortgage Funding, run your mortgage credit report. That's different than a consumer credit report. Also, we have the Credit Expert Program. It'll show us exactly what you need to do or pay down to move your credit score up. There's a big difference between a 680 credit score and a 760 plus credit score in the mortgage rate world. And again, what determines your mortgage rate is not only your credit score, but the loan to value in the program. But it does definitely weighs heavily on that credit score. So a couple things you can do there. Lowering those balances on the credit card is definitely key. Also, deal with real mortgage bankers. Find out all your different options, as Andy's just talking about. Find out exactly what's going on out there.
So, Harvey, last week when rates went up, okay, you talk about this. Rates go up and people were getting quoted, 4 3/4 on a 30-year fixed. Okay, here's what happened. They call a place up. Rates went up. They quote them 4 3/4 on a 30-year fixed or whatever the rate they were quoting. We know rates went up. We react the second rates go up. Okay, whether it's good or it's bad. If rates go down, we react right away.
Right.
So now you've got all these people out there hanging out there thinking they're getting 4 3/4. So they lied to them. They didn't lock them in. Now they're calling us up. We're telling them what's the rate. We say 4.99, 5%, 5 1/8. That's what the rates are, based on your credit score, based on the LTV.
There you go.
Well, I had this guy over at Joe's Trunkier Car Mortgage Company. He quoted me 4 3/4. You're not going to get that unless you locked it in at the beginning of the week. You're not getting it.
Maybe 2 weeks ago, for that matter.
Yeah, you're not getting it.
Go with a lender when you go and get your closing statement. You know what you're getting.
That's right.
Because there's so many that what they want is to get you pre-approved, get you into the process. Then you feel obligated. And can you clarify this for buyers? I get a lot of people, they went out and got a pre-approval before they knew me. Then they say, well, I can't get another one.
That can't be it. Is that it?
You can get as many approval letters as you want, Andy.
Thank you.
Andy, I can't believe that was the fastest hour ever. I want to thank Andy Dirks for
Roberto,
coming.
is that it?
Andy, you're so great on the radio, man. Forget baseball, schmazeball, man. You're a great real estate agent.
Fox Sports Detroit needs an announcer.
I think they do. There you go. Andy Dirks. There you go.
Interviewed. I'm going to work on that. Maybe I could be your agent. Hey, we want to thank Andy again, definitely from Berkshire Hathaway and Clarkston. If you want to get in touch with Andy, call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll get you hooked up with all the great real estate agents. We got a ton of sports here on 97.1 The Ticket. And also call Capital Mortgage Funding for the rest of the day. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I'm Harvey Freed. He's Harry Glantz. See you next Saturday.
The preceding was a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.